Delighted to say, Michael Fabricant, Conservative MP for Lichfield, joins me in the studio. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm just thinking there's a certain irony, isn't there, of Tom being in the House of Commons and me being here.
What do you make of that?
Well, it was an interesting result, wasn't it? I mean, Penny went up by 10 points, but Liz Truss went up by 15. I agree with a lot of what Tom was saying just now. I think there is also an element in the Conservative Parliamentary Party of anybody but Rishi. There will be some people who felt that he didn't give Boris Johnson the support. He wasn't always there on the front bench when perhaps he could have shown support for Boris when there were some very, very tough debates. And, of course, he had prepared his website, as had others in this leadership campaign some while back. So it'll be interesting to see how those votes will go. Tom is absolutely right when he says, you know, some of it will be personal friendships, some of it will be, depending on whether or not they agree with someone's views. Others will be, on how they actually perform. But one thing we know for sure, there is no such thing as a movement en bloc. The ERG, of which I'm a member,
went all sorts of ways yesterday, didn't they?
That's right, and yet they'd given an instruction, almost, to vote in a particular way.
In saying that, there is a sense that Liz is closing in now on Penny Mordaunt. Would you expect that most Badenoch supporters would row in behind Liz rather than Penny?
Not necessarily. You really can't tell. I mean, Liz has her advantages and disadvantages. I think a lot of people also...
You're backing Penny Mordaunt.
I'm backing Penny Mordaunt, and a lot of people, so I declare my interest. A lot of people feel that Penny Mordaunt has been rather unfairly, singled out for some of these issues, particularly the trans issues. I mean, others will recognise that she was actually the Equalities Minister. So is it surprising that she has a meeting with Stonewall to discuss trans issues? It would have been surprising, perhaps, although I've had meetings with Stonewall to discuss trans issues, and I'm about...
Isn't this the most extraordinary thing? I'm just reading, in the last couple of minutes, the London Fire Brigade are declaring a major incident in London because there's fires burning down people's homes. Sadiq Khan's going to speak to the Commissioner. We've had a record-breaking temperature in the UK today. And yet, you know what? Climate change is hardly featured in this Conservative leadership race. Trans issues have, which affect so few people. Yeah. Frankly, lots of people don't really care about it. Why is that? Why is, on the day in which, we're literally seeing people's homes burned to the ground because of record temperatures, that climate change has not been a bigger issue?
Well, I think it's because people have been picking on the trans issue. It's been, just like I talked about, there's an element in the Conservative Party which says anybody but Rishi. And that's particularly, by the way, so with the membership of the Conservative Party who felt...
Well, we saw those polls today, didn't we?
That's right. And they feel, rightly or wrongly, that he's been duplicitous. Whether that is the case or not, it might be very unfair. But, Penny Mordaunt was the front runner behind Rishi, if that's possible to be a front runner behind anybody. And they've been trying to attack her on any issue at all. And as I said, she's been Equalities Minister, so she would have to deal with issues like trans issues. And you're absolutely right. I mean, Stonewall told me that fewer than 1% of the population would regard themselves as being trans, and they're an important element in our population. But sadly, even fewer people even care about it. Yet, this is an internal little fight going on between the 360 or so members of the Conservative Party at the moment, the Parliamentary Party, and then, of course, it goes out to the 180,000 who will then make their selection.
I know you're supporting Penny Mordaunt, and I get your point that there are people out there who feel that Rishi Sunak was disloyal to Boris Johnson, probably one of the reasons in those Conservative membership polls he's not performing as well as he is among MPs, certainly. But couldn't the same be said of Penny Mordaunt? Yes, she didn't resign, but let's be clear about this. She had been organising a campaign to run for leader for many months. She's admitted that herself. But some of her bosses have said that she was nowhere to be seen within departments. Maybe she was so focused on her future leadership bids she wasn't a very effective minister.
Well, I think that last bit about not being seen in the department...
Well, Anne-Marie Trevelyan said that.
Well, who is Anne-Marie Trevelyan backing? I can tell you she ain't backing Penny Mordaunt. So there have been all these continued attacks focused on Penny Mordaunt. Now, if Tom's prediction is right, and it's Liz Truss, And if all this is coming from the Rishi camp, God help, you know, Liz Truss, because there'll be people saying, well, she wasn't much good as a minister, or she did that, or she did this. Tom again, I keep quoting him, but he's right, we're a duplicitous bunch.
Just very finally, will Penny make the final two? I mean, hand on heart, you reckon that's going to happen? Or do you recognise now it's less likely, it's a bit of a battle?
It's going to be a battle. I'm no good at predicting anything. You know, I said to Penny Mordaunt, I'm a real jinx, because everybody I've backed has been, in my opinion, the best choice over the years, and they've never come through. It all depends on how the Penny Badenoch vote splits.
Okay, well,
some will go with Rishi, but, you know, there will be a number, I know, who will go for Penny, and I hope she gets through.
I'm not going to ask you for the lottery numbers then. Michael Fabricant, thank you, as always, for joining us in the studio this afternoon. Let's